Mansfield Autism Statewide Services has a long and rich history. We were established in 1968 by Dr. Joan Curtis and were known then as Mansfield Autistic Centre, MAC. Initially, we provided the service of a series of family play schools for families with an autistic child. The philosophy behind it was proclaimed in these words: "The autistic child's family are his most important teachers, but to do their work effectively, they need both training and encouragement." Family play schools introduce parents to the then novel concept of intrusion therapy, of placing upon the child a carefully graded series of demands designed to invade their isolation and stimulate the development of normal social behaviour. The improvement in morale of parents was dramatic. They could see the changes which resulted from this approach to the autistic child and gain the confidence to use the methods themselves. Morale of parents. The principles of behaviour modification have since become more widely known, and these ideas are generally accepted as one approach to supporting autistic children to develop skills they otherwise might not be able to. We felt the parents' confidence needed to be reinforced between their annual visits to the play school. So, with the financial backing of the Apex clubs of Northern Victoria and the Riverina, in February 1970 we started the travelling teaching service, wherein families would be supported in their home by a teacher visiting from MAC. This very quickly proved its value and was received with great enthusiasm by the families. Since 1974, we have been holding camps during school holidays in which a group of children from the travelling teaching service were brought together at Mansfield for a residential program. Parents were not included in these, and the children with their voluntary helpers usually lived in a church hall. The Spartan conditions plus a lot of strenuous outdoor activities generated a certain camaraderie and warmth which we found beneficial. The family play schools and residential camps were so popular that we decided a permanent residential school was essential and opened a building fund. In March 1976, a small motel in Mansfield came on the market. A few days of intense discussions among the MAC committee resulted in a rapid change of gears, and we became the owners of said motel. 8 years after its establishment, the Mansfield Autistic Centre finally had a roof of its own. It was a very satisfactory feeling, and we celebrated immediately with a mini play school. For 2 years, MAC operated our school in one unit of the residential centre while awaiting government finance to build a permanent school. By the end of 1978, these cramped conditions had become intolerable, so with the aid of a grant from the Royal Insurance Company, we purchased a 3-bedroom modular house now known as Jonathan House and set it up on our land in Hyatt Street, Mansfield. The 3 bedrooms became 3 classrooms, the living room became the main assembly area for music, physical education and craft, and the kitchen was used daily for preparing lunches. We were also able to establish a garden. Now the children travelled daily from residence to school on foot, by bicycle, or in bad weather by bus. In early 1981, we received the long-awaited grant to build our permanent school. The facilities were planned in considerable detail by the teaching staff and translated by our architect to give us the building we have now. We moved into the school, officially known as the Training and Leisure Centre, in March 1982. In 1991, Mansfield Autistic Centre became a registered non-government special school. While all these developments were taking place, our client group was getting older. A separate committee known as Mansfield Autistic Centre Committee for Residential Options, MACRO, was formed to administer adult programs. In 1987, MACRO was incorporated and faced up to the challenge of establishing separate accommodation for the young adults who required supported living. We introduced a vocational training scheme with the object of training an adult level of competence in self-help, domestic and manual skills. This program was very successful. 2 of the young men in the program became very capable and reliable, and after several months of careful preparation, we moved them into an independent living situation in Jonathan House in February 1986. In November 1988, we opened Crossroads, where the remaining 4 men lived with a residential supervisor. From 1988, MAST has provided day programs for our adult clients. An instructor worked with them in an employment program consisting of contract cleaning, lawn mowing, car washing, and the manufacture of concrete garden ornaments for sale. In August 1992, a very generous donation from Dame Elizabeth Murdoch enabled us to buy a small house in Mansfield to use as a workshop and sales outlet. The service continues to support the original adult clients to this day. Since those early years, Mansfield Autistic Centre has become Mansfield Autism Statewide Services, and we have continued to grow and change in order to support the needs of autistic children and their families.